They say heroes are remembered, but legends never die. Today we've got one such immortal legend returning to walk the land of the living once more. Not that he actually died, but Falcon here, the legend of Total War past, not actually Legend of Total War, but truly one of the champions of our time, is here today, returning to play the High Elves in this online quick battle against Codex. And so we've got High Elves versus Tomb Kings. Let's take a look at the builds here. A High Elf Archmage of Life Magic up on the Moon Dragon. We've also got a Merworm here, some Fireborn, Reavers, and a couple of Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. Some Ship's Company, White Lions as well. And then, yeah, that's basically it. Very good stuff for the Tomb Kings. Cetra the Imperishable leading the way. We've got a Necrosphinx as well. Not the ROR, since it has fire damage, which actually makes it kind of worse here. We do have the ROR Ushabti Greybows, though. Chosen the Gods look like some Sepulchral Stalkers on the flanks, supporting cavalry. Just a beautiful, beautiful time in the desert here. The Tomb Kings and the High Elves ready to clash. And let's see what they got. The Bolt Throwers right away, dropping some shots, getting some decent damage on Cetra out the gates. And this infantry engagement we would expect to go in the High Elves' favor. Even though they are simply lower ranked Ship's Company, they're still going to do fine carving through skeletons, although they themselves get carved through by Cetra. Nice breath attack there, cuts down the lines, gonna blow up a bunch of skeletons in the front as the Merworm tangles in this big single entity fight. Right now, it looks like it's actually going after Cetra, not really targeting the Necrosphinx too much. Necrosphinx does get a little attack animation to interrupt it there, though. Shop to Greatbow's unprotected in the back line. Archmage of Life gonna drop the dragon on that. That said, Ship's Company taking some damage in the process from these single entities and other various threats. Fireborn also kind of winning out on their flank, but they're taking some pretty cost-inefficient damage in the process. I'd like to see some regrowth, perhaps, from... oh, there is no regrowth, actually. Just Earthblood here from the Lifecaster. But... nice job by Codex getting these Skeleton Horsemen around. It's going to come collapse the Bolt Throwers. They've used up a fair amount of ammunition, but still have plenty left to give. This one also still online here, now unprotected. Sepulchral Stalkers could sweep in there, but Cetra getting bullied pretty hard by the Merworm at this point, as same is happening for the High Elf Lord and the Necrosphinx. So both kind of world beater monsters, just terrorizing the opponent's Lord here, as the armies continue to duke it out. Tomb King's actually trading surprisingly well in the front line, considering they were up against Ship's Company, but the leadership damage and the support from other various units able to come in and make a pretty good difference. Shabti Greatbows haven't used a ton of their ammunition left, but Fireborn being offline is a pretty big loss for the High Elves. That being said, got the Merworm here. Incantation of Cursed Blades, buffing up the weapon strength of the Sepulchral Stalkers as they fight in a surround. Had that been Overcast, would have even increased their bonus versus large a little bit. Oh no, it actually did increase their bonus versus large a little bit. Anyway, maybe not. I don't think it was Overcast, but yeah. Nonetheless, they're going to still do some okay damage, but largely the Merworm does beat them up pretty badly. Nice breath attack there, lands on Cetra. He is going to proc a tear route on those Spearmen, though. Does look like Reaver's also running down Skeleton Horsemen, but in the meantime, the Undead are able to chase some routing units pretty effectively here. Gonna see Incantation of Vengeance trying to nuke down and slow down that Illyr and Reaver cavalry. I guess just trying to get rid of whatever mobile threats at this point in order to guarantee the safety of the Chosen of the Gods, who are currently dishing out some really good damage on the Merworm. Little Earthblood placement gets both of these single entities, but I can't help but think Velcon might have been better served to take a regrowth here instead of Earthblood, just because he has a few individual high healing targets rather than needing to heal like a blob of cavalry necessarily. But nonetheless, Archmage drops down. Unfortunately, the Chaos, well, I think they gave dragon attacks back to the Chaos Dragons. I'm not sure, but the High Elf Dragons for sure do not have dragon attacks anymore. Or yeah, they don't have dragon attacks. Fire attacks. Breath attack, I think, technically does fire damage, but used to be that the High Elves dragons would all do fire damage with their melee attacks. That would make them a lot more effective in this direct matchup, since Cetra is, of course, weak to fire damage. But instead, Yeah, the Moorworm does come back from route. It's got a little bit of regeneration left to do, but with nothing left to oppose the Chosen of the Gods, it seems like they'll probably be able to just fire in. Do see a little Earthblood there, getting some extra healing, trying to get it into contact. Summon Dushabti also being used at a really nice late game push from Codex in order to keep things stable. They're going to screen the Moorworm quite nicely here. From the Chosen of the Gods, Ushabti, Archmage drops down once more to try and finish off Cetra. Necrosphinx charges in against its High Elf Super X monster counterpart. And with Ushabti in support there, it's going to be a pretty decisive engagement for the Tomb Kings in their favor. Yeah, unfortunately, the Dwellers Below really not going to do much here. Didn't really contribute a ton in this particular battle in general. So, again, Falcon might have been better served to have regrowth. But nonetheless, it's still going to be quite close, as Cetra is probably going to go down here. He has Cursed Blades on him, but he's also cursed by being undead, so he's going to start crumbling here. Maybe, nope, just teetering right on the edge of crumbling. Chosen of the Gods make a little bit of contact there with their Scattershot bows. They still have enough ammunition left to finish off the Archmage, not to mention you've got the Necrosphinx still alive, but Falcon's just trying to see if maybe he can get some kind of leadership situation going by finishing off Cetra. Ooh, unfortunate attack animation roll there. Doesn't do a ton of damage, but there, maybe the final killing blow. Cetra surely must be crumbling. Nope. He's a raid boss. He is absolutely fearing nothing at this point. Which is just wonderful. Gotta love undead leadership. Necrosphinx also has done a pretty good amount of damage. They're not the best of this class of monster. These like super elite anti-large monsters. But it definitely gets the job done when needed. Oof. There's a charge on Cetra, and still not quite able to finish him off. The dragon just getting absolutely bodied right now. Gets an Earthblood, and finally Cetra goes down just in time for the High Elves to probably hit army losses here. Yeah, as the Archmage gets routed by the Necrosphinx, at least Falcon was able to finish off the Cetra there. But Codex holding on tight for the victory at this point. Still there's a few scattered High Elf units around, but I don't think there's enough. Maybe if the Bolt Throwers could actually get back to their Bolt Throwers and get some shots on the Necrosphinx, but still has so much HP left at this point that it's pretty much a done deal. But nonetheless, very fun game. Big thanks to Codex for sending that one in. And it's a fun time had by all, for sure. Nice close game. Ultimately, Falcon just didn't quite have enough left in the end there to take out Necrosphinx, but did a nice job hunting down Cetra, and overall limited the value of the majority of the army pretty well. It's mostly just the Necrosphinx. Sepulchral Stalkers traded okay. They didn't necessarily trade at cost, but they did well enough against some higher value targets of High Elves, like these Fireborn, unfortunately, just did not pay for themselves. Had they gotten a little bit more healing earlier on, they maybe could have stayed along to the later phase of the battle, which would have been quite helpful. But Murworm also gets some pretty good value, but the animations are just a little bit janky there. A few times they were surrounded, just like attacking the wrong targets, which is definitely something that can happen. But yeah, ultimately the single entities for the Tomb Kings were able to just barely pull out the win there. So definitely a fun one for sure. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.